I decided to pursue law enforcement for the basic reason of I had to have a job that gave meaning to my life.
I wasn't able to become a police officer when I got out of college because departments weren't hiring women. And so I didn't become a police officer until 15 years later.
I felt that I wanted to come in and change, the way that the police department operated and make it more cohesive and integrated and, help people out. I like helping people.
I thought that I could do a better job as a police officer than some of the people that I saw doing the job and had interacted with growing up. There is a latitude of power that a police officer has, and I sought to exercise that power for the good of the people that I interacted with, provided you weren't a criminal.
My father was a police officer. He worked in Motorcycle 2. After I came on the job, my sister came on the job. So it was something I always wanted to do.
It was very frustrating that we're talking back in the 70s to always be stopped by the police department. And I could say my father was a police officer, but that didn't matter.
My experience is that some officers might target African-American kids. I think teenagers in particular, whatever racial characteristics they have, may be targeted.
Would I stop 4 or 5 black guys that are in a white neighborhood? Yeah, if they're not supposed to be there, I would say, "What's up, guys?" Even if I'm in a patrol car, I would roll up on them and say, "What's up, guys? What are you doing?" And if they gave me an attitude, that would raise my suspicion. If I see a white kid or a bunch of white kids walking into that neighborhood where they're not supposed to be, there's a couple of things going on. They're there for a fight, or they're there for drugs, or maybe to buy a gun, or maybe to, who knows, but they're usually not there. I would stop them.
A lot of people would say, well, it's your own fault. If you weren't robbing people, if you weren't shooting each other, the black on black thing, well, I never hear white on white crime because there's white on white crime. I never hear that term. But the focus of media and of the departments is upon negative behavior of black people.
How many incidents have we had since that Staten Island incidents like that? What is it, a year later? 1 or 2, maybe 3? I mean, it's not rampant. It's not out of control.
Each one has to be taken on its individual merits. I've not examined directly any of them, but I would say that I don't call somebody who shoots somebody in the back a police officer. My inclination is to call them a murderer.
I say anyone that thinks that the police department is going out and they have a motive to go and kill black people, white people, Asians, anyone like that is delusional. There is nothing like that.
I believe most officers are afraid to talk about the realities of the negative aspects of policing. Number one, they fear that if they're in an incident where they need backup, they call with 1013, and guys figure, well, you're not part of the crew, they won't respond. They won't get backup when they need it. Secondly, I believe a lot of guys are afraid of what the department would try and do to them. So they keep their mouths shut.
Just because you're a cop doesn't mean that you don't have rules to follow. And I always felt that you should follow the rules because that could be your family member and you don't want anybody's rights to be violated.
I think that we have to recognize that the police are the most obvious object of disdain. However, they're not the problem. They may have problems, but they're not the exclusive problem.
And in the precinct that I live in, which happens to be the 77th precinct, they are going to reinstitute this policing where cops are assigned to a certain area and they need to know the business owners, they need to know the people, and people really need to walk up to them and say hi and know the officers too. It works both ways.
I don't understand why people just Get a job, go to school. Why do you have to protest against the cops? The cops are there to help you. I don't understand why everybody's so angry about something, an order that doesn't exist.
It's the responsibility of the white community. It's the responsibility of our leaders to realize black people are not shouting racism and discrimination and exploitation for no reason. They're not marching. They're not protesting because they have nothing else to do. Their problems are real.
Racism is such a part of the system, of the network of the American society, that people, white and black, don't realize when racism is being executed for them or against them.
That we've obviously touched a raw spot in our national psyche, not just in policing, but in everything else, alarms me, concerns me, and makes me feel that not just the policing community, but every other community needs to take notice.